a desert planet, a ruler torn between legacy and destiny, and a galaxy on the brink of chaos. Dive into the untold story of Paul Atreides, the Muad'Dib. Before we start, hit like, share, and subscribe to keep exploring epic stories with us. Paul of Dune bridges the gap between Dune and Dune Messiah, shedding light on Paul Atreides' struggles as the ruler of the galaxy. It also takes us back to Paul's early life, exploring the events that shaped him into Muad'Dib. Let's dive into the chapters of this fascinating tale. The story alternates between Paul's reign as emperor and his younger years on Caladan. A teenage Paul wrestles with leadership lessons from his father, Duke Leto, and combat training with Duncan Idaho. The seeds of Paul's destiny are planted as he learns about the importance of loyalty and strategy. Even in his youth, Paul understood that every decision would shape his future as the Muad'Dib. In the present timeline, Emperor Paul faces rebellion from factions resisting his rule. The Freemen, once his strongest allies, grow restless with the harshness of their jihad. Paul struggles to balance his messianic image with the burden of leadership. Leading the universe is far more complex than conquering it. Paul realizes that absolute power tests not just strength but wisdom. Chapter 3. The Friendship with Bronso of Ix. Flashbacks reveal Paul's close bond with Bronso, a noble from Ix who later becomes a historian critical of Paul's jihad. Bronso's perspectives challenge Paul's views, planting seeds of doubt in the Muad'Dib's divine path. The voices of friends and critics alike shape the man Paul is destined to become. Chapter 4. The Blood of the Jihad. In the Emperor timeline, the brutal toll of the Freeman jihad is evident. Paul is haunted by the atrocities committed in his name, questioning if his visions were worth the price. Chani, his Freeman lover, becomes a voice of reason, reminding him of their ultimate goal, stability for the galaxy. In a galaxy drenched in blood, Paul questions whether his dream has become a nightmare. Chapter 5. Betrayals and Alliances. Paul's youth on Caladan shows political schemes and betrayals, including plots against House Atreides. Duke Leto's wisdom helps Paul understand the importance of alliances, even with untrustworthy partners. These lessons prepare him for the treachery he would face as emperor. Betrayal is inevitable, but wisdom lies in knowing when to act and when to endure. Chapter 6. The Rebel Leader, Korba. In the present timeline, Korba, a Freeman fanatic, becomes a thorn in Paul's side. Korba's blind devotion to the Muad'Dib leads to rebellion when Paul attempts to curb the jihad's excesses. Paul must decide whether to crush Korba or risk appearing weak. Even gods face rebellion from their own followers. Chapter 7. The Burden of Prophecy. Paul reflects on his prophetic visions, realizing that his actions are both fulfilling and altering the future. He is torn between the path of destiny and his personal desires. This internal conflict humanizes Paul, showing the weight of being a reluctant Messiah. The burden of seeing the future is living with the choices it demands. Chapter 8. The Shadow of Leto II. Paul begins to glimpse the potential of his son, Leto II, who will one day surpass him as a ruler. Leto II's subtle intelligence and bravery hint at the golden path that Paul cannot fully achieve. The next generation always casts a shadow on the present. Chapter 9. The Ultimate Sacrifice. The story builds toward Paul's realization that his reign will require immense personal sacrifice. His actions as emperor are not for glory but to lay the groundwork for a stable future. Every step forward comes at a cost, and Paul knows he must pay the ultimate price. Chapter 10. The Legacy of Muad'Dib. Paul's decisions culminate in a fragile peace, but the galaxy remains on edge. The novel ends with a reflection on the duality of Paul's legacy, both a savior and a destroyer. In the end, Paul Atreides is remembered not for his victories but for his sacrifices. Paul of Dune captures the struggles of leadership, the pain of sacrifice, and the complexities of destiny. It paints a vivid picture of the man behind the legend. If you're intrigued by the untold chapters of Paul's life, this book is a must-read. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more epic book summaries.